Okay, check. So, plant tissues. The word tissues means similar looking cells which are having similar function. Cells which are similar in structure. Similar cells means structurally similar and similar function. They all come together to perform a common function. This type of cells are called as tissues. The word tissues is given by a scientist. His name is Nehemiah Grew. Okay, plant tissues. How many different types of plant tissues are there? Plant tissues are divided into two types. First one is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue. Second one is permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are those tissues which divide continuously. So they are continuously dividing tissues. Continuously dividing. Whereas permanent tissues, they do not divide. They do not divide at all. Whereas permanent tissues, they are dividing continuously. One cell is formed, again it divides to form two cells. Immediately division will take. Immediately division will take. Like that it divides continuously. Meristematic tissue. Permanent tissue, it will not divide at all. So what will happen? See, this is one cell. It is dividing to form two cells. It is dividing to form four cells. This, which are forming newly forming cells, they are permanent, but these old cells will gradually lose their capacity to divide. At that time, they turn into permanent tissues, right? In meristematic tissue also, we have three types. Meristematic tissue is divided into three types. What are the three types? First one is apical meristem, second one is lateral meristem, and third one is intercalary meristem. We'll discuss, okay? We'll discuss about these three. But before that, permanent tissue is again divided into simple tissues, complex tissues. What is the difference between simple tissue and complex tissue? Simple tissue has all cells similar. All cells are similar. But complex tissue has small groups of similar cells. So there are sets of similar cells that are making it more complex. Okay. This is one set of maybe all triangular, all rectangular cells are present here. All round looking cells are present here. All fiber like looking cells. So this small groups are formed. So it has sets of similar cells. These sets are different from each other. Okay. That is the difference between simple and complex tissue. Simple tissue is again divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Complex tissue is divided into xylem and phloem. Only two. Xylem and phloem. Simple tissue is divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Complex tissue is divided into xylem and phloem, right? So that is the difference. We'll discuss, still there are some classification in parenchyma. It is divided into three types. Collenchyma is divided into three types. Sclerenchyma is divided into two types. Okay, we'll discuss about that. But first of all, let us understand, if you will discuss one by one what are meristematic tissues, how they are different from permanent tissues. Okay. Children, if the video is blur, I'll add the recorded video. You can go through it. Okay, meristems. Meristems or meristematic tissue. The meristems or meristematic tissues are divided into three types. First one is apical meristem. Second one is lateral meristem. Third one is intercalary meristem. Apical meristem, if you take a plant, in this tip regions, this is the tip of the plant. This is the tip region of plant. This is the tip region. So in the tip regions, tip of root or shoot, what in the tip regions it is present, and it helps in growth of lengthwise growth of plants. It helps in growth of length of plants. Lateral meristem, you take the stem for example, it's like this. In this region you can see there is lateral meristem. Here there is lateral meristem. You see the TS, this is lateral meristem, this is lateral meristem. It helps in growth of thickness. It is present laterally, and helps in growth of thickness. Helps in growth of diameter, you can say, growth of diameter. Diameter of the plant increases because of this lateral meristem. Intercalary meristem. They are present in this region where the branches are starting. This region is called as nodal region. Okay. They are present at nodes. What is the use if they are present in nodes? They help in branch formation, branches formation. So that is about meristematic tissues, children. Next, after this meristematic tissues, permanent tissues. First, we'll see what is the difference between meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So if you understand the difference, you can easily understand why they are grouped into separate categories. If I keep on saying the features, you will not be able to study comparatively. When you study comparatively, you can understand the features. Right, so I'm saying you the comparative features of meristems and permanent tissue. Meristems and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissues are continuously dividing. Whereas permanent tissues do not divide at all. Based on this, you can understand easily the differences. See, they were dividing cells. What is important in dividing cells? Nucleus is important. So here nucleus is prominent. Here nucleus is at corner. Nucleus is at corner. You see the outermost layer, cell wall. Cell wall will be thick or thin. Here it is thin because cell wall deposits over time. When the cell is newly formed, cell wall is thin. After that, the cell, see this is the cell. First, primary cell wall will form. After that, slowly on that secondary cell wall depositions will deposit like this. It becomes thick. Initially, it's very thin. So what happens if the cell is dividing continuously? Will it have time to deposit around all these extra substances, secondary cell wall? Not possible. So it's thin. In case of permanent tissue, cell wall is thick. Take about cell cytoplasm. Cytoplasm in a newly formed cell, it is very thick, dense, and amount will be less. Why? Because after the plant starts absorbing water from the soil, this water enter into cells, then cytoplasm will increase. So here more cytoplasm, and once the water is added, that cytoplasm will become dilute. Cell organelles, you take vacuoles. These cells did not start absorbing water. So vacuoles less, or sometimes they are absent also. Some cells will have very less or they are absent. In case of permanent tissue, vacuoles should be large. Vacuoles are large. Organelles. Here organelles are not formed. Here the organelles are present. Cell size, small cells, newly formed small cells. Here the cell size, large cells, comparatively large cells, right? So that is the difference between meristematic tissue. Only based on this one thing that it's dividing continuously, it's not dividing, you can understand the total differences between meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Structurally, you see how many differences are there. If by seeing, when you observe it under microscope, here nucleus is clearly seen, here nucleus is pushed to a corner. Cell wall is thin, cell wall is thick. Cytoplasm is dense and less. Here the cytoplasm is more and dilute. Vacuoles are less or absent. Permanent tissues have vacuoles that are large in size. Organelles are absent here, organelles are present. Cell size is very small, cell size is very large. So, keeping this in mind, we'll discuss about different types of permanent tissue. Hope this is clear, children. Right? So, that's about meristematic tissue and differences between meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Now, permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, the name itself is saying that it do not divide. Once it is formed, it does not divide. From where that comes? It comes, okay, in this permanent tissue, some of the permanent tissue comes from intercalary meristem, some comes from apical meristem, some comes from lateral meristem, but totally permanent tissue is formed from a meristematic tissue only. Permanent tissue is divided into three types. First one is parenchyma. Second one is collenchyma. Third one is sclerenchyma. So the same way how we try to understand the comparative study of meristematic and permanent. Here also we are studying permanent tissues, three types of permanent tissue comparatively to understand their where they are present, what is the difference in structures. All these we'll understand when we study them comparatively. Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. First, parenchyma, they are living cells. It is composed of living cells. Collenchyma is also composed of living cells. But sclerenchyma gradually, very soon, not very gradually, very soon after it is formed, it turns into a dead tissue. The cytoplasm gradually dries off, the cell wall becomes thick, and as a result, this sclerenchyma are composed of dead cells. Okay? Parenchyma cells are having, okay, this first we'll see cell wall. Cell wall is thin cell wall. Thin cell wall because in this secondary cell wall is not formed and it is made up of cellulose. So all cell wall components are carbohydrates. First understand that cell wall components are carbohydrates. Carbohydrates from cytoplasm slowly deposit around the cell so that cell wall is formed, right? So cellulose is also a carbohydrate. When coming to collenchyma, this has a thick cell wall because of secondary cell wall depositions, and as a result they have cellulose, hemicellulose, another carbohydrate, and pectin. So already primary cell wall is present. Over that secondary cell wall will deposit. So already cellulose will be present. Over that again hemicellulose, pectin all will be deposited. Coming to sclerenchyma, very thick cell wall. Very thick cell wall. Because already it's made of, already here cellulose is present. Hemicellulose is also present. Cellulose, hemicellulose also present, pectin is present. Above that, lignin, another carbohydrate, suberin, another carbohydrate. They are also deposit over the secondary cell wall, so it becomes very thick. Since these are very thin, you can see the cells of this parenchyma tissue have some gaps. These gaps are called as intercellular spaces. What they are called as? Intercellular spaces. In case of parenchyma, intercellular spaces are, okay, these are called as intercellular spaces. They are present in parenchyma. But in collenchyma, this hemicellulose and pectin deposition will start like this. So as a result, what will happen? This entire space will be occupied. So you can say initially they are present. After that, they are occupied by secondary cell wall. So it's some cells have these spaces, some cells do not have. the intercellular spaces. But in case of sclerenchyma, definitely no spaces, no intercellular spaces. Okay? Still we have to discuss, but let us end here because we have time is completing, right? We have 5 more minutes, I think. Okay, we can continue. So this point is clear. They are living cells. Parenchyma and chlorocolenchyma are living cells. Sclerenchyma is dead cells. Here the cell wall is thin, here thick, here very thick. Made of cellulose, cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, lignin and suberin. Here intercellular spaces are present. Here no intercellular spaces. Sometimes they are present, sometimes they are not present. In sclerenchyma, no intercellular spaces. So there are other differences also. What is the function of parenchyma? Main function is storage of foods, formation of foods. Photosynthesis occurs in these cells. It is stored also in these cells only. Colenchyma gives mechanical support in case of climbers. So it's not very thick mechanical support. It gives mechanical support but with flexibility. Climbers need to be flexible. You can bend the stem of that climbers. But in case of very hard stems, this sclerenchyma is present. So this gives mechanical support in trees. It also helps in dehiscence of pods. See, when it protects some of the fruits also, protects some seeds. Suppose you take the example of almonds. Outside there is a hard shell. That hard shell is made up of sclerenchyma and it helps in protection of that inside seeds. Dehiscence. Sometimes you have seen that fruit spores will burst open to help the seeds in dispersal. That process is called as dehiscence. If that should happen, this outside pod should be very strong. Poppy spore should be, you take the example of Kanakamaram flowers. The seeds are present inside a cone-shaped structure that will burst open. That bursting is possible because their sclerenchyma is present. There is no flexibility, it's hard. Because of that hardness only, it's able to pop open. Okay? It also provides mechanical support. That is one thing. Metabolism is more parenchyma, storage of food and formation of food also. Metabolism only. So metabolism means processes that takes place for formation of molecule, for degradation of molecules. So many reactions should take. Those reactions are present in permanent tissue. Permanent tissues has more metabolic activities, more metabolism. Compared to parenchyma, colenchyma has less metabolism. And in case of sclerenchyma, very, very less or absent. Metabolism is very less or absent. Okay? So that is about metabolism. Where is parenchyma is present? Parenchyma is present in all parts of plant. Which part of plant performs photosynthesis? Leaves. So it should be present in leaves, where it stores the food either in stem, leaf, or roots. So in every part of plant, parenchyma is present. All parts of plants. Okay. Coming to collenchyma. Collenchyma is present in shoot, but absent in root. So their mechanical support is required only by shoot region. That's why it's present in shoot, it's absent in roots. Whereas sclerenchyma is present in bark, pods, right? So in these parts of plants, seed coverings, and in xylem also you can see, in phloem also you can see the presence of sclerenchyma fiber. So xylem and phloem, wherever it is conducting, in that regions all sclerenchyma is present. That means in between the leaves where veins are there, in the stem region, center of the stem region, center of the root also, you can find the presence of sclerenchyma, right? So that is about it, children. So these are the differences. So by this you can understand easily what how they differ from each other and where they are present, structural differences and all, everything you can understand. Now we'll study this classification of parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma in our coming class. I think time is completed, children. So yesterday we saw the differences between parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Today's schedule will say you the types of parenchyma, types of collenchyma, types of sclerenchyma. Okay, let us start with the types of parenchyma. Parenchyma, so what did we learn about parenchyma? Parenchyma is a living tissue. It has thin cell wall made of cellulose. It helps in storage of food and making food. It has very good metabolic activity, and also so parenchyma is a tissue which is living tissue, has thin cell wall. These all things we have discussed yesterday. So I'm saying you types. There are three types of parenchyma. First one is chlorenchyma. The name chlorenchyma is saying it is having chlorophyll. Since it has chlorophyll, it has main role in photosynthesis and it helps in storage of food. Second type of parenchyma is prosenchyma. It is a tissue which gives mechanical support. Why do we need a tissue for mechanical support? Already we have collenchyma which gives mechanical support in climbers, and we have sclerenchyma which gives mechanical support in herbs and trees, where the stem part is very hard. Why do we need this prosenchyma again for mechanical support? In small plants, take for example coriander plants, kothimira plants, very small plant, it also needs mechanical support to grow straight, right? In those tender plants, mechanical support is required. There, even the newly formed leaves of the big tree, it needs some mechanical support that is provided by prosenchyma. Aerenchyma are air spaces that are present in the aquatic plants. Aerenchyma gives air spaces, the tissue which have air spaces. See, the cells will be arranged far like this, in between there will be large air space. So advantage is it helps the aquatic plants to float easily. So aquatic plants float because of air spaces. So all aquatic plants which float have aerenchyma in them. Okay, right? So that is about the three types of parenchyma, children. That is about the three types of parenchyma.